Y'all ready
Yes, ma'am.
to talk about reclaiming our power? We're doing it again, Curl Queens. Yes, we're doing it again, Curl Queens. And this month we are talking about reclaiming our power. And that takes on many different facets of our lives that we're going to be touching on today. I'm going to hand it off to Karen. Let her, I'm going to steal her thunder. Let her talk about her and how this all came about, which brought, she's
Sure
going to bring
enough.
us in. Okay.
Sure enough. We're gonna
All
get this
right.
started.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be real quick. Because the good stuff don't last that long. So as we get into this, we hope that those folks who are joining us tonight, your Curl Queens. I am Karen Sims. I am owner and principal of Twisted Threads. And what we do is really a lot of facilitation of motivational speaking, inspiration, life coach, business success, as well as goal success. And one of those things that often comes up, and I work with a lot of women. And so just by design, I do male and female because we all need somebody to sometimes hold our hand and move us along the way. But one of the topics that will always come up is, how do I get it all done? And there's always been this misconception of, I need to be everything to everybody and a perfect image to each of those groups that maybe you represent. So the perfect daughter, the perfect mother, the perfect wife, the perfect spouse, partner, friend, sister. Child, listen, I'm tired of saying all of that. And so the concept came about, and I facilitate on the topic murdering Superwoman.
Mm.
And it's very important because, Karen White back in the day be like, and she said it, I'm not your superwoman. Like, I'm not going to cook and clean and you're going to act up, but that's a whole nother story. When we think about how much we put of ourselves into the entire world for everything that we're doing, for ministry, for our families, we find it hard sometimes to take that time to get to know who we are. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that will represent itself in failed relationships. We're going to talk about that. It'll represent itself in unrealistic goals that we set for ourselves. It will also represent itself sometimes in depression and anxiety. And so we want to get into all of that tonight, because the purpose of murdering Superwoman is so that our Audreys, our Ketas, our Tilted Halo, our Karens, and all of you who are watching us, so that we can emerge and live. Like, that's the most important part. So look, I didn't want to give you all, be like, okay, now, thank you, show is over. We got so much to talk about, because when we're thinking about that topic, this is a discussion and it's all three of us, and we started having discussions behind the scenes, and now we're ready to bring it to you, talking about how do we reclaim our power? Because that's the thing, like with Wonder Woman, we know she is ready. She got the cute outfit. She gonna have her she got the one piece on, so I guess, we'll act right. But she got her legs out. She ready with her truth lasso, and everything is there. She is ready to literally conquer the world. But there are weaknesses, and I love it because I am a fan of Superwoman, but she literally sometimes does too much, like that movie 1984. But we ain't gonna talk about it. We a little bit too much, so we're gonna say reclaiming our power. And how do we allow ourselves the privilege to say, I'm going to put the cape down, I'm going to put the lasso down, we're going to put the bracelets down, and I'm just going to be Karen today. And then I need to take the time and learn, what does that mean when Karen shows up? Like, we sometimes get so busy of, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And by the time nighttime and bedtimes come, like, we literally are passing out. And so there's no time for us to discover ourselves. And all of us are women, mature women of a certain age. And we understand now more than we did way back when. So we are able to provide wisdom to our younger sisters and let them know, look, girl, it don't even take all of that. Okay. Mm-hmm. That ain't what, you ain't got time. Listen, go over to ShopRite. They got them prepared meals. Carry yourself. Wawa got prepared meals. Listen. Okay, that we ain't got no Wawas down here in North Carolina, but that changed my life. I was like, what? You ain't got to know how to do much, but you can put a little thing in there. So how do you steal those moments for yourself so you can reclaim your power? And then here's the benefit. We get to emerge in the best version of ourselves for today. Today's version of me is the version you get. And tomorrow, you know what you're going to get? A different version. Because if we are forever growing the way that we should as Qurled Queens and otherwise, today's experience now goes into our brain bank, and overnight we get to process it. And tomorrow morning, hopefully, if it worked right, we gonna be better. You know, when you know better, you do better. That type of thing. And so I want to bring in my sisters and talk about, you know, what does that mean when you hear the two phrases, murdering Superwoman and reclaiming our power? So I want to start with Audrey. Can you talk a little bit about, like, what does that mean to you and resonate with you?
So I remember, Karen, the first time you talked about this topic, murdering the, and just putting those words together, murdering your Superwoman, made me go, whoa, okay. So, you know, that means that all the things that I think I can do, maybe I can't do, but more so, maybe I should not be doing it, right? So all things are beneficial, but not everything is expedient, right? I'm talking from the book, y'all ladies, you know, right? So, you know, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should be doing it. Mm-hmm. And it's all about prioritizing. What's important? Do I need to do this right now? I know for me, I have a certain mini checklist that I go through in my head whenever I'm presented with any kind of project or anything that I should be doing. And then one of the things in that checklist is it important? Do I need to do it right now? Because not everything needs to be addressed in that moment, right? Sometimes you can put it aside. Doesn't mean forever, but you just put it aside and say, you know, I just don't have the bandwidth right now to do this. And then give ourselves permission to be okay with that, right? Like you said, Karen, put the cape down, take the cape off. Give yourself permission to do that. A lot of us, we don't know how to do that. We don't even know who we are if we're not serving other people. We have no clue.
That is a mouthful right there, Sister Audrey, because one thing that I know we're going to get into and talk about, and hopefully we'll share some tools with our sisters and our brothers. Because here's the deal. While we trying to be Superwoman, we confusing our brothers as well. Because then they like, when we stop, they like, well, how come you? I'm about to kill myself over here. Right. We're trying to do everything. And there is a greater understanding that hopefully our brothers will get as well, that they understand that some of this is because we felt like we had to do it. So there'll be moments that our brothers have to step up and do some things. And then there'll be some moments where they got to understand and be like, you know what, give me one of them Gerald Levert and so-and-so nights, and I'm going to run you, and Johnny Gill, run the bubble bath, you know, all of that stuff. Whatever they doing, do it. I don't know. Let's do it. And allow the women in your life the ability to not have to show up as the Superwoman. Because the thing is, when we see Superwoman, it's also Linda Clark. And Linda Clark is fine, and she got, you know, now they got a new one. I forget her name, but she cute. You know, she get to be cute. Like, she don't always have to come and save the world. I need to be that version of Wonder Woman sometimes,
right?
And so how can our fellas, you know, kind of share with us? And I want to get to Tilted. I want you to just like kind of tell me what that murder Superwoman and reclaiming your power, what does that mean, and how does it resonate with you?
For me, when I hear murdering Superwoman, first of all, somebody got to die.
Yeah.
Okay. And if I'm identifying myself as Superwoman, there are some parts of me that have to die.
Absolutely.
All right. Just like you said, Linda Carter, she was cute. She had a little bun. She got to be a little secretary. She went on some dates every now and again. I'm talking what I saw in the 70s version of the show. Right? She was still a feminine woman who allowed herself space, even in all of her superness, to be soft and pink. She wasn't always underneath that cape. And you all know, I already shared, sometimes that cape becomes a covering, similar to what we keep hearing about these masks. We hide a lot
Yeah.
about ourselves that actually needs to be basically just taken away, diminish that. Put some what was her weakness? She did she was kryptonite? Did that deal with her too?
That
No,
wasn't her.
that wasn't
What was
her.
that?
We
Well,
can go
whatever it
there.
is, we walk around with these capes on, right? And for me, I see that cape again as a cover up. So for me, in order to murder the superwoman inside of myself, I had to learn to lay my cape down intentionally. Like you said, Audrey, I had to be more gracious to myself, and
Absolutely.
understanding that the world wasn't going to fall apart if I didn't do it in A, B, C order. Sometimes it comes together better when you go from A to D, come back, figure out the variable between D and E, so
Right,
on and
right.
so forth. We get the chance to rewrite the story for ourselves. And especially when it comes to the relationships with our men, a lot of times that cape is some residue from a past experience that we are legitimately carrying around, just like a cape on our back, and it becomes weighty. And we encounter these brothers, and many of us are sitting up, praying for men, praying to be wives, praying to be in relationships, but we are too super for our own good. Because again, those same brothers are super too. And some of them have some of that superpower vision and can see that cape. But the cape that they see is hurt,
Oh, come on.
trauma, fear, mistrust, whatever they might see from us. And all they want to really do at the end of the day, from what I'm learning, is love us through that
Mm-hmm.
cape. That cape becomes a wall.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I learned to intentionally take that cape off, honey,
Mm-hmm.
and allow myself to be soft and pink. I allow myself nowadays the time to just totally be irresponsible.
Yeah.
I love it.
And that is so hard for me. Oh my God. That is so hard for me to be irresponsible, having been a wife, having I'm still a mother. I'm a grandmother. And at this point, I'm next in line to be the matriarch of my family. So how
Wow.
can I teach the young women, my daughters and my granddaughter and those to come, how can I teach them that it's okay to just relax and breathe if they see me run around here like a fraggle?
You know what else? Nikita, you're touching on something that when Karen was talking, it made me think about this as well, as far as our relationships are concerned, because if we're blessed with the Leverts and we're blessed with all the men who are sensitive,
The
if we're blessed
TV
with the
version.
ones who, who's gonna run our bath and who can see the hurt and the pain and who can see everything on that cape and know what to do with it, that's great. But if we're not blessed with those men, what they will do is they will see us running around and they'll just sit back. They'll be like, "Oh, she got it."
It's called the succubus spirit, but
Ah,
that's a succubus.
we
That's like,
on it tonight, but you hit an important part there, Audrey, of what are kind of those cons of us always
yeah,
showing up. Because and I promise I just had this conversation with my dad about one, like my sons, and it's like, well, they just want to bump their chest a little bit, be like, well, they can't do that over here, so I don't know where they're gonna do it.
let them do it over
But
there.
but every man wants that moment or those moments to just be a man. You know what I mean? And this is part of that. And so if we do everything, there's like a continuous thing. And I remember hearing that from my children's father many years later. He was like, well, I knew you had this. So like, I'm about to, okay, never mind. But it was like, so you let me do all of this stuff. He was like, but you had it. He
You
was like,
had it.
you, and I had to take the moment. I had to take the moment, so I wouldn't go to jail, number one. Number two, to reflect on what was being said to me. And he was absolutely right. He was like, because if you didn't have it, you made sure that your family had it. You made sure that your mom and dad, like there was so many other layers before somebody could say, all right, it's your turn to do something, you know. And I love it seeing my children, because they kind of fuss back and forth where, you know, we got a couple of young fathers, but them wives don't play. My other daughter, they be like, what? Who? Y'all going where? Doing what? Yeah, it's your turn to change the diaper. They don't want to hear nothing.
Yeah.
They don't want, but they taught that.
Yeah, I think it's good when they say, oh, well, you got it. And that's fine. And maybe we do. And we probably do, right? But the thing is, but we don't always want to have it.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? We don't always want to have it. Sometimes it's like we doing it because if I don't do it, anybody else gonna do it. But Lord, if someone were to step in and say, you know, you just sit down tonight. What? See me just fall back so quick? Be like, okay, let me just make room for you to come on in, right? Because we don't want to have it. That's the superwoman, right? We're doing it, but we don't always want to do it.
Yeah, right. And that's a good point that you put in there, and you know, a reminder for our sisters tonight. If you do have a gentleman, maybe he only tries once a year. Let him burn the toast.
Let him
break your toes. Let him squeeze your back too hard, trying to give you a massage.
Just wiggle
up your toes when he's trying to paint them. You can go back to the nail salon or whatever.
Get that touched up
later. Let that man grease your hair. Whatever it is, let him.
And here's another caveat to that. You hear me tagging on you, sis. Let him do it the way he
what? Girl, wait, say it again for the people in the back.
You want me to help free the people on the night? Let him do it the way he wants to do it. We tend to think, no, you ain't doing it right. Again, let me go back to my previous statement from A to E. What is it? Mars and Venus?
Yes.
Men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Yes, we translate, we process differently. Simply because of what? Natural differences, being male and female. We are wired differently. Absolutely. And somewhere in the middle of this all, two things has to happen. First, again, we got to relinquish the super cape.
Yeah.
And then we also have to learn to verbalize that we need help. And not only do we need to verbalize it, we need to receive the help that is offered. And what I've come to learn is a lot of what we do, again, is very generational.
Yes.
We all have the power to change. As you all made reference to going to sleep at night, and you know, we supposed to be processing, getting up in the morning, being a new person, so to speak. Again, I'm going to make reference to something I like to say. I start with the man in the mirror. I'm trying to best me every single day. I'm trying to be a better version. No one's harder on me than I am on myself. So I know when I might have said something that I didn't necessarily need to say. So first I got to ask God to forgive me, and then I got to ask him to teach me how to bridle my tongue so that my words do drip honey when I do speak, that I'm not spitting straight hot fire like Dylon when I'm talking to my male companion. Because our words hurt them just like their words can hurt us in a relationship standpoint. We've got to be mindful. We're strong, we're smart, we're educated, and yes, we are absolutely capable of doing it for ourselves. But baby, you ain't got to. Let me drop my mic now.
It's we need to be a fragrance and not an odor.
Ooh.
Right?
Say that again.
We need to be a fragrance and not an odor. Right? We want to attract.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Audrey closing it out.
Right?
Shut it down. Shut it down.
We don't want to repel. We want to attract, right? We want to draw in the goodness because we don't want to repel. So in our relationships, we sometimes do that. We can't even find the clasp to take the cape off.
No.
We don't even know where it is.
Baby,
Yeah.
that thing is twisted through your hair. It's
Literally.
twisted on your neck. It might be starting to attach itself to your spinal
Yes.
cord.
We don't
Listen,
Listen.
know.
It's
We
a big
don't
deal.
know.
Yeah.
We really don't know. So Karen, I have a question
Yeah.
for you. I have a question for both of you. But so
Yes.
Karen, one tip, right, in your mind that the women can do for our
Uh-huh.
women
Hmm.
to make room for our partners.
Yeah. Like literally do that.
Like, what? How do we do that?
No, no, no.
Let's.
I bet because literally make room. So I've had these conversations because I be trying to be a grown up every now and then and be like, oh, so you date like you ain't got no time to date nobody. You got 50,000 things that you doing.
mind
And
your
it's like,
business.
well, boo, if I see you come alongside me, I slow down. I slow down. But what it is, it's like certain and I've had this conversation recently. So it was like, you don't have no time for nobody. It's like, well, now see, here's the deal. There's certain things that I'm required to do. Like it's part of my DNA. I'm going to do them. And I know that I'm not for everybody. And I used to take the time and be like, oh wow, I need to conform. Oh, you don't want me to do that? Okay. But this gift thing that God has given me, this is something that I have to do. And so I think the first thing is make yourself open to take breaks. And I'm going to say take a break because sometimes we are doing too much. They're not lying. We are doing too much. But if you never take an opening, like even the train stops at a stop, pick some people up. See, you got your ticket. If you ain't got your ticket, you can't get on this train. But that's part of it. Take breaks. And one thing that kept coming to my mind is take the time at some point to listen more than you speak.
Yeah.
Because men will give you literally the keys. I promise. It's not, and it doesn't have to be hard. Be like, well, I don't know what he wants. Baby, you ain't listening.
You're not listening.
Because they not going to, because I think a lot of times we listen and we don't like what they saying, but that's a whole nother.
Girl.
Tune in next time for that one. Be like, what? You want? No, I'm not going to be able to do that. One of the things that we would talk about, I think back in the day, was the word submission, and submitting to a man. And the thing was, that was a thing for me back then. Like I had to learn, like, so now tell me about that. What? Who?
I'm supposed to do what? When? Wait, I'm not supposed to do what?
Why? But the thing that came with it was when I understood that, and this is real important because you're not submitting to everybody, right, but you are open to submitting to somebody who at least has some form of godliness, so that it's not about me trusting him with my submission. I trust God with my submission. Be like, all right, come over here if you want to. If you do it wrong, listen, I'm one of those touch not, the anointed, do my don't come over here. I will warn you so that you don't draw back enough. But the thing is that I mean this in real talk. At some point, we got to take the time to know ourselves. To thine own self be true. That means stop, and I promise I write this stuff down. Stop making the list about what he has to be longer than the list of what you're showing up with.
Woo. Listen, Karen, in the Bible, and I use this all the time, it says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing, right? So what does that mean? That means we're not the ones seeking. So we should be working on being the good thing.
Yes.
Just work on that. That's a lot of work, right? We're all a work in progress. When you think about it, we are all a work in progress. None of us are perfect. So just work on being the good thing. You don't have to go out looking and seeking. He's going to find you.
He definitely will find you if you are out there about your business.
Yes.
They like to see a woman about her business, especially a man that is looking to find his good thing. We're part of the same faith fellowship, and we are often here, let them find you working. I know I caught that a lot. And I fancied myself to want to be like that woman they described in Proverbs 31.
Mm-hmm.
what you said the word submit. So y'all know I stay pulling up dictionary.com, right? Because I got to look at this word here.
I saw you looking
Mhm.
down. I was like, Nikita gonna come.
Listen,
She gonna come
we
back with
coming
something.
with it.
And
Yes,
yo,
yes.
I'm looking. This is my little dictionary app. To give over or yield to the power or authority of another.
Mm.
I'm gonna stop right there. I don't even need to go on the rest of these 5011 definitions and all of that. But if you truly understand and are holding on to what you've been waiting for, you should be able to recognize when you have encountered a submittable power. If that it's someone worthy of submission, if that makes any sense. You know, we often understand the gender roles in relationships. If that man out there about his business, okay, cool. You found me while I was out there by my business. Okay, cool. Now let me see what's in your kingdom, King.
Ooh.
Because my deal is this. My deal is this. I'm always looking to make sure that the king that tries to present himself to this particular queen, I need to make sure that your kingdom matches up with what's coming out of your mouth. I don't want to encounter fool's gold, so to speak. And we got a whole lot of man boys out here in these streets these days, but let me get up off
Ooh.
of that.
Ooh.
How
Oh,
many women, Nikita, um, they cannot recognize the man for them because they're blinded, right? They got
they're
their
blind.
own stuff. They say they have their checklist. They have all these requirements and conditions, and if they don't check all the box, they looking for him to come from the right. He may be coming from the left.
He might be coming from the left. He might be coming from dead on in front of you.
Yeah.
And again,
Yes.
you're so blinded by your own cape that
Yes.
you are not seeing the gift that God has legitimately dropped right in front of you in your path.
Yes.
So, yeah, my deal, you keep mentioning the checklist, baby. Let me talk to you about what I did with my checklist. I
Come
Uh-oh.
on
burnt that
now.
joker
Come
up.
on. Bring on the
I
checklist.
burnt that joker up. You know why? Because I have a relationship with the lover of my soul.
Yes.
And if I trust him to provide for me, he knows my heart. I've made my request known.
Mm-hmm.
I have to allow him to be who he is and practice a discipline of my love relationship with him first
Yeah.
so that I can see the gift he's brought to me.
Mm-hmm.
So when the gift presents itself, like you said before,
Shows.
Karen, I know, okay, now I can yield. You know that
Yeah.
version in that
Yeah.
word in the word submission? Now I can yield.
I can yield.
Now I can yield.
That's powerful.
Yeah. And we have to be able to recognize that. And, yielding is fun. It's good for your skin. It gives you time to do things you would not necessarily be able to do if you don't slow your super tail down.
Yeah.
That right there. And I think, the one thing we hold on to a lot, and we had a conversation of the longer that we remain a certain way in our singleness. So it's not singleness that gets in the way. It is that we hold on to our antiquated, outdated, just wrong, stinking thinking for too long. And then it becomes harder. And that's always, it becomes harder to unlearn a thing than for you to even learn a new thing. So it's like,
Right.
not so much the problem is not learning how to be softer, how to present yourself better. And I know this sounds crazy because some of our feminists supposed to be like, y'all, all three of them crazy. But I need us to understand that that's required in our lives between the men and the women, because a lot of times we've been misunderstood because of the fact of I'm gonna get mine and you gonna get yours. Well, baby, when do we come together and get ours together?
Together.
Like
Thank you.
when do we build? Like I had a conversation with a very good friend, and it was like, hey, look, listen, like you've been in the cut a long time, and you ain't doing nothing. Now you got to go all the way to the left. Don't call me. Don't come try to find me. This too long. Because one thing that I know for sure is that growing up, my dears, grandma, auntie, and them would tell us when a man wants you, he gonna come get you.
He gonna come for you.
He coming for you. And it's not no, I think, I don't know. And it could be the most timid man. and it won't be, he ain't taking no shorts when he like, you the one. Now, he could be crazy like my dad was when he was dating my mama, but that's a whole nother story. Men will pursue. And I know a lot of times it's like, well, men are afraid. They're afraid. They're not afraid to pursue. They're afraid of our response when they pursue.
Right.
Yes.
So we're sitting here like, Lord, send a man, send him. And I said to somebody, I'm not praying another prayer about a man because God knows me every single day. He knows everything that I want. He knows everything that I desire. He knows all of it in the daytime and at night. That's all we're going to say for that. He know it all. So why am I so stuck on, I got to pray for this. I got to pray for this multiple times. And Lord, how come I'm not getting it? And then I had to change my prayer because it was no longer about why this man taking so long. It was, all right, like literally, hands up, I surrender all. Lord, what do I need to do to make myself ready? Because the thing about that, he that finds a wife finds a good thing. It's not just that we're a good thing. When he finds us, we're already a wife.
Yes.
Like that's the thing. So we can't, and it's not that there's rules on there. The man who knows you is going to know the things that you're doing. So it's not going to be that restriction, but you will be willing to compromise, find a situation. And I'm not saying settle. I'm talking about, you know what? I don't have to put my gloves on because there's no reason to fight.
Yes.
You find that person to say, wow, I don't have to fight. Like and I know for us, these Qurled Queens right here, we've had to fight through some things. And so it is hard to lock those gloves away.
It is.
Not to pull them out because it'd be like, wait, what? Like I literally sometimes have to have conversations and be like, stay still. Because I'm ready to go get like, wait, that sound like so I gotta put it down and be like, let me listen with my ears. Let me listen from a different place. I'm listening with my ears. I'm listening with my heart. If I've selected somebody who I think give 2 cents about me, then there should be a different dialogue that comes from that person. And that dialogue is supposed to connect and remind me. And I used to say that as a person who dated other people, be like, look, if I ever get out of hand, I need you just to look me in my eyes. Because if I care about you, there's certain things that I'm not going to do with you. But if you out of my eyes,
it could go down.
I can say no more on the grounds I may incriminate myself. But it was like, I need you to get eye contact with me. Because if you know your girl is about to go somewhere, arrest me right where I am. And I will bring it back. Because if you are a person that I care about, I don't want to take you out with this fire that I know that literally I could take out entire nations. I know. Like
Dylon.
But I want to use my powers for good. So we were talking about reclaiming our power and that murdering Superwoman. It is murdering the ideology that we have to be this other thing because other people were lacking. The right person is going to allow us to take the days off, even if it's just like, okay, my mommy's having mommy time, or Boo is having her boo day, or she's having her girl day, and it's okay for her to recharge, because the hope is that when I recharge, I come back better. I come back, absence makes the heart grow fonder, all of that stuff. I don't know, but it works though. It works when we're allowed to pay attention to ourselves, because what happens, and sisters, this is it, brothers too. What happens if you making a list for the things that you need to do, and you take your time to focus on that list while you are either in waiting or pursuing? But look, I want to caution, because some of y'all already married, some of y'all already in Buddha.
In Buddha?
Yes. Or to this for wherever you at right now. Because some of us, you already in something, and now you're trying to reevaluate, and then Boo gonna be like, what happened? Be like, well, I watched Qurled Queens.
But we've been there. We've been there. I know when I made my transition, I was married, right? Because you get married and then you mature and you grow, and as women, we find our voices. And then when we start speaking our voices, they don't want to hear what we got to say. But I know when I was early in my marriage, and I used to say when I got angry, I would speak to like my sister. She was like, "What you? How was?" I said, "Girl, I was on my broom last night."
Riding
You're
out.
like, you was on your broom. I said, "What?" And when I get really upset, I was like, "Oh, it had a motor last night. Like it was really like I was on my broom." But I had to really, really learn in my marriage um to just be silent. You know, because we come into our relationships with the who you talking to? I know exactly. I know you ain't talking to me like that. No, you're not. Mm-mm. You know, and we ready. We got the gloves on. They in our pocketbook, right? So for me, I had to rein myself in because not everything needs to be spoken about. Pick the right time and then pick your battles, right? You're not always going to be on and always going to be ready. Pick your battles of things that really matter. And it goes back to timing. Okay, maybe this is not the right time to bring this up.
Yes.
Maybe he's going through his stuff too. Maybe he had a rough day at the job and he's not, I shouldn't take it personal, right? So I want to say that. Another thing I want to say is that we as women need to take the time to know ourselves, go to counseling, surround yourself by, get a tribe, a circle, group, whatever you want to call it, by women who are going to be open and honest with you and tell you the truth, back to what you were saying, Karen, right? So that when you are going through a rough time, you're not alone. You're never alone. So we don't have to suffer in silence and we don't have to go through anything on our own, right? Get a group of people you can call and be like, Cheetah, let me tell you what happened. Not so that she can be all in my business,
No.
right? But that she can hold me accountable. And she did.
Yep.
I had a moment early in my marriage where I was doing that and I called a friend and she didn't answer the phone, right? And I called her back again and she didn't answer the phone. I was like, oh. So then I went and I prayed about it. And then the next day, I spoke to her and I was like, I called you last night. She said, it's a good thing you didn't get me because I was going through my stuff. We would have had a bashing party had we connected, right? And that's not what we were supposed to do. Right? So God was in control, right? But it's not about bashing, right? It's about Nikita or Cameron saying to me, Audrey, you're wrong, or that's not really the right way. You should be looking at it, and then I can take that in, right?
Mm-hmm. See, look, first of all, I want to give a couple shout outs. First, I want to give a shout out to my Karen. Because you already know, you've been my sounding board down through the years. When I'm trying to check myself, you thank you. Okay? And I also want to give a shout out to my baby girl, Linnea Hansford. Okay? Y'all know I'm always big up my baby.
Mm-hmm.
Because let me tell you something, I was married. I married young. And now I find myself out here trying to date, and it's like I'm doing everything in reverse. I'm like, I'm married when I was 21. Divorced at basically knocking on 40's door. So here I am knocking on 50. Amen. Praise God for keeping me. Yeah. Knocking on that door. And I'm like, wait a minute. What am I doing wrong here? You know what I'm saying? So I go talk to my baby because I've learned so much even from watching my daughter's relationship.
Yeah.
She has had 2 long-term relationships in her life. And that baby told me some of the most, oh my gosh, powerful stuff the other day. I just asked her a question. And I sat down and she's so cool on her video game. You know what she said? She said, Ma, sometimes being too independent can be a problem. I said, girl, you just preach. You could take all my money right now.
Out the mouth of babes. Wait, I just want to take
out of the mouths of babes and sucklings
so
has
true.
the Lord ordained praise and wisdom. How about that?
Praise. I want to give a shout out to Margaret and Suzette and Kim, who I see them in the comments. Hey, ladies, thanks for joining us.
Hey.
Yep. If you have any questions for either one of us, just put them in the comments and then we'll respond to it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but that was some of the most powerful stuff.
Oh.
And it's like, I feel crazy, first of all, for going to my baby girl for dating advice. But at the end of the day, I've watched this child walk in wisdom in her relationships. And she's strong-willed. She's a mini superwoman, so to speak. She said that, and then she just said out her mouth, she said, and you know, I choose my battles.
How old is Linnea? How old is she?
That girl was here before. I told y'all that.
I know, but how old is she when she told you
She's
this?
26 years old.
Okay, so if we had got that message,
I need you to know.
But you know what? I'm grateful again for the Karens and the Kianas and the Audreys and the Suzettes and all of my sister friends that I was able to, my baby was a tag along.
She was.
And she sat with me.
That is true.
As I was rebuilding my life.
You are right.
A lot of those nuggets fell on that child because she was always right by my side. So the trauma and the pain and the situations that I was dealing with hit good soil. So I'm watching this baby manifest a harvest of love and stability and relationship going, I like that. Yeah. So I learned to keep my mouth off of what I see her growing.
Yeah.
Because I don't want her to react from my pain.
Right.
In her situation. Child taught me a lot about me in relationships.
I love what you're saying there, Tilted, because, you know, one of the things that we had not touched on is what you just said. Visual effects of how we live our lives, the things that we do, whether it is we being superwoman to our families and our children. And I love it because, you know, I became the person who I think people would repel from. So it'd be like, you know, when I was younger, nobody want to date nobody with all them kids. And now I'm like, wait a minute. How old is your last child? How many kids you got? Where they at? I mean, I have become with those who used to despise. Like, anybody got time for that? I know you got what? A 2-year-old? Thank you so much. Parting gifts to the left. I'm not raising nobody till full grown. Now, if you got 15, 16, matter of fact, I just prefer your kids be as grown as mine. And usually that means I got to date a little bit older than myself because I started early, but it's like, but with that, the residual of what our kids, our children experience while we were going through these journeys is definitely an important part for not only our healing, but also our transition. Absolutely. Because while we're transitioning into better versions of ourselves, we also, similar to you, Tilted, is that we got to have those open and candid conversations with our children. And I remember having this conversation with one of my younger sons. So both of my younger sons are married, and the older ones are like, keep going. It ain't going. Like, don't look over here for none of that. But they are romantic and they do all of the stuff. And it was because we used to do a lot of that stuff together. And I knew for sure that as I was raising them, put them in front of the right people, you know, people be like, you know, Karen, you might be the only single person around married people. Yeah, because I need them to see. And if they ain't getting it at home, don't mean they can't see it. They're going to see it. They're going to see it. You the father, this is how you show up. You the husband, these are the things you need to do. And they're doing them. And the challenge for me, and I said that because both of them were married very young, so in their early 20s. And the conversation that I had with my kids was a little bit different. It's like, look, that woman you married today ain't gonna be the same woman. 5 years from now, 3 years from now, she ain't gonna be the same woman. Yep. And you better have the capacity to go with her. That before I put on this dress and spend all this doggone money, that you gonna be able to equip yourself. Because I ain't loving nobody else. I done claim these two as my daughters. We ain't getting no. Right.
We ain't replacing this. They not interchangeable.
So the two extra ones right now that I got, I need you to make sure that you ready to walk through this fire with this young lady, because she will change. She will learn more about herself. She will learn more about you. She will learn what it means to be a wife, a mother, companion, a sister. And sometimes she'll struggle with it, and you better show up. Now, this is the way I talk to my kids. You may not talk to yours that way, but you better show up, because what you can't do. And I tell the daughters, you know, look, y'all came up here and y'all said, yes, I do. I love him. He all strong and everything. Don't send him back. Don't send them back. This yours. Whatever wrong with them, you better find some counseling, prayer, and scripture.
Yep.
Don't come back to me and be like, Ma, you didn't. Don't do it. It's an as-is deal. You got him. He yours. Deal with it. And so understanding that our young men need that mentorship as well. So our daughters, they glean from us, they know. And similar to Keita, I don't think I do a lot of things that my children have done. And it's funny because sometimes my dad will want to give me dating advice and I can't use most of it. That's a whole nother story. He's an expert because he's like, I found me a second boo. And now, the Lord blessed me. I had one and she went on to glory. And now the Lord done sent me. Karen, let me tell you what to do. Be like, no. It's like Jerome from Martin. Like, let me tell you. No, you can't tell me nothing. Like, no. Just don't work.
You got a chance.
But I love him dearly because some of the things that he does say, it's a reminder for me of I have a choice to make. Do I listen to all of it? Because some of it is nuggets. It's like, don't invest too far. Make sure you go somewhere and you talk to somebody because that's the problem. He's like, talk to them. See if they crazy. See how crazy. They crazy because they said yes to me. See how far they could go with this. Do they love God? Do they love people? Are they a person that you could continue to talk to over and over? Now, Daddy's thought of it is start at McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts first, and then go to the park, and then by the third, by the time y'all have dinner, you should be proposed to. That's his dating. I'm pretty sure it don't work that way.
That's because the good Reverend Doctor is a Mac, but that's a whole nother conversation. He's a Mac.
One of the things, when you guys were talking about the residual,
yes.
It made me think about on the other side of that and how we were looking at our parents, right? How we were looking at, like I'm looking at my mom and see how my mom did things and got the work ethic and a lot of the things like being so strong came from looking at how those are our models and they become our barometers. Everything starts from them. And then we kind of navigate that way. So it is kind of nice to have us change it a little bit, right? Yeah. And kind of get it right. And then so then our children can look at us and see something different.
Yeah. So I in the middle of this dialogue, I'm sitting here, I'm like, but wait a minute, what about Superman? What is it that we as super women can
Clark
do
Kent? Is it Clark
intentionally? Kent? Clark Kent, yes. Yeah. I'm sorry, it's the suit for me. I'm sorry. It's the suit for me. Not necessarily him in the red, his blue tight suit. No, I like that suit when he was the reporter. Anyway,
it's the glasses, but
yeah,
it's the curl.
Intelligent,
I can't help it.
We can wrap
things. It's like
but what about Superman?
Yeah,
what are different ways that we as superwomen, after we've laid down our cape, to again referencing Clark. His girl was Lois Lane, right? But I in my mind's eye, the whole movie just when Superman was down, I mean, just about to die, Lois stepped in, and she would take him to certain places that he was familiar with to ground him, if that makes any sense. Can y'all add to that? What about Superman? What can we
you know I'm a superhero junkie, so all of that. And the thing is that Lois took him somewhere, not physically. She couldn't fly. She couldn't, she ain't had no superpowers. But she took him somewhere mentally. And I don't know, but when you first started talking about Superman, the song that came to my mind, and oh man.
It's gone.
It is not, but I can't remember who. The old days, I think it's the old days. Last night we cried together.
Ooh,
oh yeah.
Now that's a deep thing.
Is that
Who is it? We cried together. I don't know who it is. I'll Google it in the meantime. But that song always is a thing for me. Because men ain't shed no tears just because the wind done blow.
Right. Unless they got allergies. I'm sorry.
Well, these allergies that we talked about, like these this kryptonite coming out the sky right now.
Yeah, that's all that is.
Well, listen, that's what I'm saying. Some of us women, we the kryptonite.
Yes.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Say that again for the people in the back.
We are the kryptonite. We need to turn it around because we are. We're not making him stronger. We're making him
Ooh.
weaker.
Mm.
Yes,
And
ladies.
some ladies like that. Some ladies want their women for them to be the weakness for their men. And I really don't know what goodness comes out of that. But I know that when we spend the time building the men in our lives, whether it is a love relationship, a son, an uncle, a brother, listen, as much as our men need us, we need them. And a lot of this hour we talked about what our needs were for our brothers and our partners, but they need us to show up. Sometimes they need us to show up and shut up.
Thank you, because we always hear be her piece. We need to be his piece too.
Yeah.
Can we be each other's piece?
Come on now.
Can we get a pass the piece like we need
that?
Pass the piece like we need to. Hey, you know,
making room.
We have to make room
for them, right? Make room for them in our lives. And sometimes that does mean being quiet, right? Yeah. And it's cooking the meal, right? It's telling him, don't worry, I got it. And not in a superwoman kind of way, but it's a way to give him a break. Because our men, and they're not all black men, but I'm just referring to black men right now, they got it rough.
They really do.
When they go out in the world, it's tough for them and it's hard for them. And they shouldn't have to fight in the world and then come home and got to fight with us because we got the cape on, right?
Yeah.
You know, I've been home with kids all day and okay, well, he's been working all day. Just take care of the kids. Is it going to?
And how do we find a compromise in that? Because I think the biggest thing is that if we're all going out into the world and we're all experiencing things at different levels and on different dimensions, how do we come together and become a unit? See, that's the thing. It's like everybody talk about, couple goals and all that. The goal is not about a couple goal. It's about how can we build together. And the first thing in building is me and you building each other. When that becomes a focus, and I say to you, because sometimes, I'm a cell phone junkie, and it'd be like, and I get people like, you gonna put that down? No, not right now.
Karen.
What? I mean, I'm gonna act right.
No, see, that's when you give me a call. You be like, he mad because I had the cell phone on. I'm like, Karen, you need to put the phone.
And that's the thing. So I intentionally to take the time and say, like, I get it. It'd be like, no, this is my time. You're gonna have to do that cell phone later. Like, put that thing down and go ahead on, because you only gotta tell me once or twice.
You know what?
It's one of those things.
Communication is key because we both come into the relationship with expectations.
Yeah. And
we oftentimes don't communicate what those expectations are, right? So I may be coming in thinking what in my mind what a perfect relationship looks like or what a healthy relationship looks like. And it could be totally different than what my partner is coming in and he's expecting something totally different. Yeah. So we're like this all day, right? Yeah. We just passing each other all day. It's like, look, well, you mean to tell me when I walk in the door, you don't already know? You're not reading my mind? You don't already know that I want the house to be clean, or you don't already know that I'm tired and it's Tuesday and I'm not cooking dinner. You don't know that? Communication.
Those are conversations that absolutely have to be had. And I think it's one of those things that, even early on, whether you are dating, of course, there's certain things that are deal breakers, but you won't know them until they present themselves or that you've had the conversation. Because at the end of the day, and I hate to say it this way, but every couple needs to have that moment right before that heated argument and the moment after it. Yeah. And, because we need to know, how did you talk to me? Was my communication style able to bring you back when I saw we were going too far? Because somebody has to be the kind of, as you said, barometer to say, all right, we about to go too far. And I know what this mouth is used for when I go too far. So I literally no longer put it on somebody else to do it. It's like, whoa, you know what?
Let me just walk away.
Yeah. Yeah, like
I'm gonna just shut all the way up because the next thing that come out of my mouth, my brain is like in kill mode sometimes. So it's like, and I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. Like if we here and we took it here, we taking a whole generation out.
I am when I go there. Yeah. And when I'm upset, and it takes a lot for me to get there.
Absolutely.
But when I get there and I start talking, and when I walk away, you all cut up and bleeding from, from the words that I just said. I don't like to apologize. That's my thing. I just don't. Apologizing is not my thing. So I'm gonna
call you
careful about the words that I say. I'm like, because what I say, I may not apologize because I meant that.
Well, here's the statement, Audrey. It was not my intention to hurt you or offend you the way that I did.
Right. There
now, a smart person gonna know that wasn't an apology. They gonna know for sure it was not an apology.
Like, no, I'm not apologizing. I'm not doing it. Listen, ladies,
I don't mind apologizing.
It depends on what it is.
That's true. And I have to mean it because I can't do a fake apology.
Like, I
literally have to be like genuinely sorry, because sometimes it'll just be like, well, I'm sorry you felt that way, but like, yeah.
Now, if I stepped on a landmine that I didn't know was there, and you got triggered, and now I've hurt your feelings, so I didn't know, then absolutely. I'm like, listen, I am so sorry. Yes. I wish I could take the word all back, right?
Yes.
Because we do that to each other. Sometimes we're triggered. They don't have a clue as to what happened to us when we were 10 years old.
Yeah.
And now they're stepping on a 10-year-old landmine. They don't know.
I know.
Right?
I know. Tilted, you all right. Yeah, we good over there. So
yeah.
A lot of this is, as we're thinking about it, it's just really us taking a moment of reflection. And so my question to both of you is kind of like, as you reflect, what is that thing that you, at this stage that you're in, would do for yourself to kind of say, well, this is how I use my powers for good? I could either go to the left or go to the right, but here's how I show up when I want to, kind of have that communication, whether it's relationship or friends or family, or even children or siblings. How do you show up?
I think for me, part of my powers is just being transparent. So that's the way I show up. It's like telling my story, right? This is my story. This is my truth. This is how I live. This is what I didn't experience, right? Mm-hmm. So sometimes it comes from that, like, I just don't have that experience. That's not my story. So I may not be able to relate exactly with what you're dealing with right now. So I'm just going to be here for you, right? But it's also just sharing my story. That's how I use my power, just sharing my story and being transparent.
Excuse me, y'all.
Love it.
Look, phone distraction over here. Y'all know I got 11 things going on.
That part.
Yeah.
11.
Nikita, how do you use your power?
How do I use my power on a day-to-day basis? Y'all already know I like glitter. And I do my best to use my powers for good and not evil every day. And that is intentional, regardless of what I might be walking out of. I do my best to make sure that I'm intentional about being a sweet aroma, as opposed to a stinking stench.
Yeah.
When I'm out and about, because I realize that, it ain't your fault that I'm walking through what I'm going through. And the more I discipline myself, the better I become at using those powers for good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Karen, how do you use your power?
I think I've moved into more of a reflective state. So before I take action, I am more intentional about thinking about how am I showing up, in what spaces am I showing up. And I think in that, use my powers for good. I try to show up authentic.
Yeah.
So it's like this, you don't have no 2, 3, 4 different versions, and sometimes they don't reconcile with each other. But you getting Karen, people like, oh, my alter ego name is Karen. That's what my alter ego name is. Her name Karen. Okay, so you literally are getting Karen all day. And yeah, I try to, and definitely to being authentic and having grace with myself. Mm-hmm. I think that's the thing. It's like if I show myself grace, it allows me to show other people grace as well. Because it's like I definitely, okay, I'm gonna be nice to me. Mm-hmm. Could be nice to you or nicer to you, and that's something that works for me. So as I'm giving myself grace, I want to extend that same grace that I'm hoping other people will give to me. And right now in this season, it's working, so we're gonna ride with it till the wheels fall off.
Exactly. So we are at the top of our hour. This was an awesome discussion. Thanks, ladies. Karen, I'm going to give you the final words, however you want to wrap it up tonight.
Oh my goodness, thank you. We are excited about the series of conversations that we continue to have as Qurled Queens. Thankful for Audrey and for her building her brand and all of the things that she's doing, and for Tilted Halo as well. And we want to remind ourselves, like we did at the top of the hour, and I am definitely using Audrey's words. We want to be a fragrance and not an odor. And that's for our males and females, brothers and sisters. Like, life is hard outside of everywhere else. We don't have to add to the difficulty, but it is important for us to reclaim our power in our own lives. Like, a lot of times we talk about people taking it away. Most of us gave it away, and now you got to go and get it back. Go and get it back, and make sure that the people in your circle, you're able to feed them, and that reciprocity continues, that as you're feeding them, they're feeding you. So we are so happy that you all joined us, or you'll press play later, laugh, joke, but it really is kind of a serious thing when we think about us showing up for ourselves, because when we show up for ourselves first, then the family, the job, the ministry, everything else is able to flourish, because we know what version of us we're bringing in. It's okay for you to be Superwoman, but sometimes we got to put that cape down and literally, like we said, be soft, be understanding, show grace and mercy to our brothers and sisters. So that's what I got for tonight.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's it. Bye-bye.